All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We are the Critics Collective. I am Legacy Lingo, and I want to thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the weekly Top 5. This is where we review the box office earnings and shout out the top 5 earnings over the weekend. But before we get into those numbers, I want to thank everybody that's been rocking with us and is helping this channel grow. We were on the road to 500. We just cleared that within 30 days. We got over 400 plus, and we thank you guys. We are nearing the 600 number, and we're on the road to 1,000. If you are new to us and you like the content we're doing, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the alerts button, make sure you drop a comment and like this video. Join the collective community. All right, so again, as I mentioned, this is when we talk about the top 5 for the weekly earnings. Last week was week number 5 of 2025. This is where we stood. Dogman, which caught me off guard, was number 1 at 36 million, pretty much made all of his money back. It had a $40 million budget. Companion at number 2 at 9.3. Mufasa the Lion King was still hanging in there, was 6.3 million. One of Them Days, 5.8 million, and Flight Risk at 5.4 million. That was the top 5 for last week. And now we're going to get into the top 5 for this week. All right, so starting with number 5, Companion, which was number 2 last week. Companion is now dropped to number 5, making another 3 million. But let's not forget that Companion's budget, if I'm not mistaken, was about 10 million. So it definitely made its money, and everything now is just all profits. I think it's made almost 16 million overall. So shout out to them for squeezing in there, knowing their market, knowing when to drop a film. It was perfect timing for them, and it worked out. But I really thought this was gonna do a little better. But it is what it is. Number 4 for weekend number 6, Mufasa the Lion King. After being in theaters 8 weeks, 8 weeks is still hanging around in the top 5, made another $4 million. Oh man, like I said last week, this was just the perfect time. They dropped it at the tail end of the year, and it's just riding these first 2 months where there's not much strong competition. So shout out to Disney for Mufasa the Lion King. All right, now this is where we get into the bit of a shakeup because we had a few new releases. Okay, so number 3 this week, Love Hurts, opening weekend, 5.8 mil. I do want to point out the budget for this film is actually only 18 million. So that's actually, it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. Love Hurts is hitting at number 3. It had some fairly stiff competition. Number 2 actually was Hard Eyes. Hard Eyes also was the opening weekend. It made 8.3 million. It also had a budget of only 18 million. So these studios here with these coming in with these feature films with the surprisingly low budgets, they seem to have a good grasp on when to drop these films and when to make their money, because we know as the next week come on, we got Captain America and all these things coming. It's going to be harder to compete in the box office. So this was smart on their part. They've already made pretty much half their money. So hopefully they will become profitable within the next week or 2. And we do have the review of Hard Eyes available with myself and Maite. If you get a chance to check that out, get in the comments, let us know if you agree or disagree and how many accolades you're going to give it. All right, so number 1, and I'm sure this is going to surprise everybody as much as it surprised me. Number 1 again, The Dogman. I did not see this coming. I feel like I need to go watch this movie now. I feel like I'm missing out. Dogman makes another 13.8 million. Second week in theaters. It was number 1 last week with 36 million. It only cost them about 40 million to make, estimated 40 million to make, and it's killing it. I definitely know it won't be number 1 next week. I expect Captain America: Brave New World to be number 1, despite if people like it or not. I know there's a lot of controversy around that, but I feel like it's definitely going to take number 1. But it's going to be interesting to see where Dogman falls. I'm not going to lie. Last week, I thought Dogman was going to show up at number 5 this week, and we got it back at number 1 again. So it's going to be interesting to see how the ratings go next week. All right, so these are your top 5 numbers for week number 6. Again, you got Dogman, 13.8 million at number 1. Hard Eyes, 8.3 million. Love Hurts, 5.8 million. And then Mufasa the Lion King, 4 million. And at number 5, Companion with 3 million. These are your box office numbers for week number 6 of 2025. So guys, please get in the comments. Let us know if you thought this was what you predicted, if you thought this was fair, if you thought another movie should have stayed in the top 5. One of them days, actually only being in theaters 4 weeks, fell to number 6, and I actually would have hoped it stayed in there. So I'd like to get you guys feedback on that. All right. And again, if you guys like what we're putting out here, please make sure you hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button, join the collective community, turn on those alerts. We would love to have you, love to interact with you, love to keep making content for you. All right, so thank you again for joining us for another episode of the weekly top 5 with the Critics Collective. I am Legacy Lingo, and we will see you guys on the next one.